Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and this is the Raw review for the 28th of April. Yeah, April's already almost over with. It's kind of crazy. But I wanted to jump into here because this Raw was honestly just kind of like right after Raw after Mania, and it just delivered. I mean, I think most of the matches and promos here were pretty solid. So we'll start off the show or we'll start this video off how the show started with Rollins coming down, Seth Rollins, and then being interrupted by Sami Zayn trying to get him to flip and say, "Hey, this isn't you," and basically Rollins is like, well, you either get to be with me or against me, and I could ship you off to SmackDown and give you a title opportunity. Like, he gave Sammy all those opportunities to get him out of his hair, but Sammy is just Sammy, and he's going to say no. And it doesn't end great for him by the end of the show, but I think this is pretty good. I wouldn't mind seeing Rollins versus Zayn at some point. I think that would be a good thing. Obviously, Seth Rollins hasn't lost to him, so maybe not a backlash match, but like maybe something else. But I would be cool with it. I mean, it could set up a later thing with like maybe Jey Uso getting inserted into this, which I think is probably the end game. Let's put it up into S tier. I think it's a really solid storyline. Then we had Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez. Now, I kind of already figured this match would end up in like a DQ because we knew Julia probably would show up. Julia and Roxanne are kind of teased that they are probably going to go to Raw, which it would be absolutely amazing. So I guess we'll just see how that goes. I mean, like it's two absolute stars that would be called up. So I would like to see this. This match itself, I thought was pretty solid. I put it up an A. I thought it was a pretty decent match for the 11 minutes that it was. It obviously just DQ ending kind of sucks, but it makes sense because it's going to protect Perez, who technically lost this match. And yeah, we'll see. Io made the save, and then Io's going to be on NXT tomorrow to maybe go after Roxanne. I don't know. I kind of like it. Maybe a tag team match needs to be here with Rhea and Io versus Roxanne and Julia because that would be absolutely amazing. And if you put it in Backlash, I'd be fine with that too. That would be pretty cool. Next up, we had Becky Lynch explain why she turned on Lyra and Bailey. Obviously, she said that she attacked Bailey. We kind of already assumed that, and that she attacked Lyra just because Lyra has been trying to take opportunities and ride her coattails and pretty much all that stuff. I think it's okay with like a rivalry with that. I feel like this isn't like the greatest story. I think they really pulled the trigger really fast on this. I would have liked to see them go a little bit longer. Like it just kind of felt sudden with them, just losing the tag titles and then the flip. Obviously, this has now led to a backlash match between the two, which I would absolutely love to see. So I think that's perfectly fine. So I'd probably put this segment up in the A. I think it was pretty solid. I think the segment itself, this one was struggled a little bit. I think Becky started strong, and then she kind of struggled when it was kind of the back and forth. I think Lyra held her own, but then it was kind of really bad at the end with her like this is my title, or like you want a match, but you're gonna want this title, and it was just like it's just too much explaining for something that could be just simply bad blood going to Backlash. But yeah, I'll put it in A. Next up, I actually got the order of these mixed up. I guess the tag match was first. It was the Judgment Day versus the War Raiders with New Day on commentary. The match itself was pretty solid. It ended with Penta coming down to even the odds because Carlito was, there, and the War Raiders were winning. A pretty solid match. I thought there was some good back and forth. I think JD Madonna did great and Ivar and Eric did great. Finn Balor just didn't seem to be used super crazy in this match. I guess maybe it's just to kind of see where JD's at, but to have some backup if something else happened. I'll put it in a solid B. Thought it was a pretty decent match. Next up, we had Ivy Nile versus Stephanie Vercor, which was just an absolute banger of a match to have for Stephanie to be up on the main roster. I don't know if she's thinking about getting called up or they just want to kind of show her off a little bit more. I feel like this is either like a ploy to try to get more NXT, like people that watch NXT, or something, but like the representation of these three women that have came up to to like Raw has really shown off the division even more to people who don't watch NXT. I thought it was a pretty solid match, good back and forth. I'd put it up in A. Didn't really expect Stephanie to win clean. I kind of thought she might get attacked or something, but she won and it was pretty easy. So I thought that was a pretty decent match. Next up, we had Logan Paul come down. He demanded the World Heavyweight Championship match, and Jey Uso went down there and talked to him, kind of cooked him, honestly. And it looks like maybe Jay and Logan will happen at some point. I think this is going to be a Raw match, but it could be Backlash. I'd kind of be upset if it's Backlash because of another match that we get later on. It kind of fill the card with a lot of matches, and I don't think a lot of them are going to be super crazy good. But this, I think, overall would be a good rivalry. I'll put it up into Esther. I think for Jey Uso, it's a good first rivalry and first defense for him, where somebody he can definitely still be over with, somebody he can go head and head with the mic, but somebody who's going to probably be able to carry him pretty good in the match too, to make a pretty solid match. So we'll do that. Next up, we had Pat McAfee talk about being attacked by Gunther, and then him puffing up his chest and saying that he wants Gunther. Obviously, he's not there because he's suspended, and that they want each other or he wants him at Backlash. I don't want to see this. So badly don't want to see this. I really hope something changes from now to then, because that sounds like an awful match at Backlash. I'm going to put it down in D. It literally needs to be Gunther just absolutely destroying him in like 10 seconds, because he's the world heavyweight champion, or just was. Having him look any bad of having a match that lasts over 60 seconds just seems like the worst idea in the world. Then we had Sami Zayn at the very end of the show. He had to give his decision to Seth Rollins if he was going to move to SmackDown and stay out of Seth's way, or he was going to stay and be in the path. He decided to stay, and Braun Breaker came down to have a match with him. Braun Breaker absolutely destroyed him. He looked good. Sammy looked pretty decent. I think this was his first match back since being like injured or whatever. I thought it was a pretty good ending to the show. I'll put it up in S tier. Pretty good main event. I think altogether I put the show into a solid A. It was just a fun show. A lot of just segments and stuff. We also had a Miro promo in the back. I was going to put that, but it's like kind of hard to get pumped because we're just trying to, I don't know, to me at least, just get used to him again. Or Rusev. He'll be facing Otis next week. JD against Penta. Those matches should be pretty solid. And yeah, Raw looks pretty good. And we'll see what SmackDown brings us. If you guys like these weekly reviews, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be having them up on the channel pretty much the day after each show. I do this, Evolve, and SmackDown. And if you like any of those shows, just join in the conversation below. Tell me how you guys enjoyed it, what parts you liked, what matches were your favorite. I think my favorite was the Stephanie match. It's like I like Stephanie a lot. Also, Rhea and Roxanne. It's just like a really fun like combination, and I wish to see that in the future. Until next time, this has been Japan. Bye, guys.